Welcome, everyone. I'm Pat Soldano, president of Family Enterprise USA. We promote and advocate for generationally owned family businesses and their lifetime of savings at a national level in Washington, D.C. We represent all sizes of business, small, medium, and large, and all industries. I'm very pleased to have with me today Jeff Reed, who is president and CEO of Reed Family Companies. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you.
So let's start off by you talking to us a little bit about Reed Family Companies, what they constitute, the employees, the history of the business.
Well, parts of our business trace back to 1919, but we really call June 6, 1944, our founding day. My grandfather and his brother were in business earlier than that. They split up. And he went back into business, and the first paycheck on a construction project that he had, road oiling some roads in California, the Central Valley, came in on June 6, 1944. So our businesses are primarily heavy highway construction, aggregates. We have quarry operations, concrete plants, asphalt concrete plants, and we do a multitude of infrastructure projects, including pavement preservation, where we pretty much work the 11 Western states and some projects overseas. And we build machinery for this industry.
So you are domestic and international, and about how many employees at any point in time does the company have?
We run between 800 and 850 employees peak season in the middle of the summer.
Well, that's a pretty big operation. So what has been your greatest impediment to maybe growth in your business?
Well, obviously, I think the first one picks out is, finding competent employees and opportunities that bolt onto the existing operations that we have. The next part of that is the impediment from the government itself and regulations that affect opening up a new quarry or developing a new line of equipment.
Well, so you just brought up employees. What we have found with family businesses is many of them have what we call generational employees. So that means more than 1, 2, maybe 3 or more generations of the same family working in your family business. Have you found that to be true? And if so, could you give us kind of some examples?
Yes, that we have a number of folks that are multi-generation in our family business. The father or grandfather worked on the crews themselves. The son went off to college, came back as an engineer, works in our construction operations, and we've got some that have made it up to where they're managers running their own operations within our companies.
Well, so as you know, we have helped Congress form this Congressional Family Business Caucus, which is bipartisan, 38 members currently, 2 Democrat co-chairs, 2 Republican co-chairs. And we have these caucus meetings 3 times a year, helping them to organize them and facilitate the meetings for them. And one of the next caucus meetings, which is going to be May 14th, we're going to talk about succession. Succession is always a huge issue for family businesses, trying to pass that business on from one generation to the next, trying to put in proper family governance, corporate governance. Could you share with us maybe how your family business has addressed succession issues?
Well, we went through a succession here with myself. My father passed away in 2016. In our family, we work till you die. So we're always here and, going through the nuances of the estate planning and how much money had to go out of the business in order to pay estate taxes was horrendous, which stifled us for a little bit as we went forward. I worry about how we keep doing this in the next generation and the next generation beyond of being able to sustain that in our business. It was a difficult time at that time, and I think it'll be a difficult time the next time along. I have 2 sons in the business right now. I'm hoping to get my daughter in the business. She's currently in the IT world, working in San Francisco, and I think she makes more money than I do.
So, so talking about that, I think it's succession, as I already mentioned, is very difficult for families. And you mentioned that you did pay an estate tax. It's interesting because some legislators say to us, I don't know that people should be paying an estate tax. They should be planning, and they can do a lot of planning around the tax. So the question I have is, did you do planning and yet you still paid an estate tax?
We did all we could. Yes, we still paid a lot of state taxes on top of that. And it definitely stifled us for a few years in having to come up and pay it. There was a point where it was possibly going to be done over time, and we elected not to do that and figured a way. But yes, we had a lot of money that went out of the business capital that in order to pay off the state taxes.
And you're still doing planning, as you said, with the next generation, but yet you, as you just stated, you still think that there's going to be estate taxes being paid, because I guess once again, you've done the planning you think you need to do, but it's not enough.
Well, I think one of the real problems with is what we get out of Congress is the continuing changing, and what it's a moving target as far as what the estate taxes are going to be. You know, with one party getting in, we're looked at possibly reductions in state taxes. These are not set; they basically expire, and then they have to reinstitute them as far as what the estate taxes are going to be. You know, and it's caused us in ours to maximize giving as much as we can. I think I'm already maxed out to my kids of everything on estate taxes. So anything else from here is going to be taxable.
Well, I'm going to shift gears a little bit, because one of the other topics or themes that we're going to have at a caucus meeting here in March is workforce issues. So maybe you could talk to us a little bit about some of the workforce issues that you face in your business.
That's a very unique question, because every industry I'm involved in talks about workforce. They all talk about workforce, and they all expect somebody else to do it. 10 years ago in our operations, I had an HR staff of 1.5. And at that time, we were maybe 500 plus employees. And their role primarily was reactive in trying to go out and solve the problems that were going on in the field. Since then, we're running a staff now of 8 or 9 people in our HR department, and half of them are proactive. I mean, they're all proactive, actually. But half of them are recruiters that are out there in the marketplace trying to find new employees. And so I really say this whole workforce development thing boils down to that old cartoon we've all seen of the 2 guys being chased by the bear. And the one guy yells at the other one and says, "What are we going to do?" And the one guy says, "All I've got to do is outrun you." And that's how we approach this. We've got to do a better job than our competition out there on workforce development. And part of that is changing our culture, providing meaningful employment within our operations, and paying attention to our employees' careers and what's important to them. And I think we've done that in improving our culture over the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah, that's a really, really important point, as well as helping us to train and bring in more workers that we can, train to be skilled workers. That makes a lot of sense. So let's follow up with legislation, regulation issues that have helped or hindered your business. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about those that have helped and those that have not helped.
Well, obviously, the ones that have helped that are important to us right now is this the new tax bill that has passed the House and is in the Senate, reinstituting the 100% R&D write-off, and the other one is the accelerated depreciation. Both those two are highly important to us as a family business, and in order to try to maintain our capital to continue to grow our business.
Well, and so I guess my final question revolves around community. We found that the most family businesses are very, very giving. And then in fact, 70+% of that giving is local. They give to local organizations or local chapters of national organizations. And so if that family business has to be sold for whatever reason, to pay the estate tax or some other reason, the family loses their livelihood, the employees lose their jobs, and that community giving disappears. And most people don't connect that dot. So maybe you could talk to us a little bit about how you, your family, your business works with your community.
We instituted a number of years ago, Read Community Day. And Read Community Day is where we will pay a day's wages to any employee that gives to the community, goes off and works in the community for a day. And it started out reasonably slow. It has now become a big event. We organize it around a number of different charities where people will go put in a day. This last Christmas, we had folks working on toy drives. We've had a number of people that wanted to build bird boxes for duck boxes for one of the community events, and painting our local gospel mission. So those are things that we do, and our employees are heavily involved in that. We also do a match of any giving that our employees give in the community, and that's gotten some good response and has moved forward from there. Plus, we also take on major projects of our own within the company, such as orchestrating the rebuilding of community parks, community centers. Here in Modesto, California, we have the American Graffiti Museum. We are heavily involved with redoing the parking lots for that facility that'll hopefully open up to the public here this next summer. And we're constantly involved in trying to get our employees involved in these events.
Well, that's excellent. Kudos to you. I know how much that will impact and does impact your local community. So do you have anything, final words that you'd like to say on this video, whether it's to voters or media or members of Congress or anyone else, to help them understand family businesses?
Well, I mean, the family business dynamic is always is much different than a corporate type in business, and we would love to see that anything that can support family businesses that Congress can do would be there. I think one of the major problems, I'm out here in California, we are a separate nation state out here, and unfortunately, I think Congress needs to do some reining in of some of the policies and procedures and things that are going on and regulations here in California to get them more in compliance with what is happening nationally, as opposed to being so different. We have got our CARB is dictating across the country what trucks are being built, what trucks are available. CARB stands for the California Air Resources Board. It's having a major effect. AB 5 out here in California is restricting the amount of self-employment that truck drivers can have, and that's affecting goods moving in and out of California. And when you really look at it, the West Coast ports of California are the primary intake point for goods coming into the rest of the country. And that is having a major effect on the ability of moving goods in and out of California. So I would urge that more effort be made on the part of Congress to bring California back into the fold of regulation that is a uniform regulation across this country.
Well, that's a really important point. And you're right. If people don't live in California, they probably really don't understand that. So I appreciate that insight. That's excellent. Well, Jeff, I really appreciate your time on the call today. It's been very, very interesting. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
And you too. Thank you.